everyone, it is Nails by Ness and I am back. Today I'm going to be showing everyone how to do a proper removal. So believe it or not, a lot of nail techs do not know how to successfully complete a acrylic removal in a good time period, so to say. That's something that your clients are always complaining about. They're like, oh, I don't want to sit down and wait 30 plus minutes for my removal, yada yada. And that's the reason why a lot of clients tend to pop their nails off. I'm one of those people, but I'm just lazy. Okay, I have the ability to soak off my nails properly and in a good time period. I'm literally just lazy and I will pop my nails off, but you're not supposed to, because it can damage the natural nail bed and cause the nail beds to be thinner, weaker, more sensitive. And that's really important depending on what products you use for your clients, especially if you use gel, because not gel polish, but builder gel and things like that have something called a heat spike when you put it into the lamp. So if you have a client or you who is ripping off their nails, then that heat spike is going to be unbelievable when they put their hands in that lamp after they unrip their nails off. So I am going to show you guys how to do a proper removal. However, we are going to be removing acrylic. We are not going to be removing gel. And if you don't know, then I'm going to tell you, hard builder gel cannot be soaked off with acetone. Hard gel, builder gel, has to be filed off professionally, which is why only trained professionals should do that. But there are certain gels that are made to be soaked off, which are the softer builder gels. So you got to be sure that you know what products that you are working with to better help your clients. But moving on, I'm going to now go over the things that we are going to need to complete a removal process. And at the end of this video, hopefully, you guys should be able to do a removal in about 15 minutes or under. So starting off, obviously, you are going to need a drill bit, not a drill bit, a drill, and the drill bit that you are going to need, the most effective one that I tend to use, well, I have two. Most effective is the tornado bit. This is an extra coarse bit, and it is called a tornado bit because of the shape. Okay, and then the other one is also the same shape, kinda as the other one, but this is not a coarse bit. This is a 5-in-1 drill bit, which means that it has multiple grits. As you go down the bit, the tip of the bit is fine, but as you get lower, it is a little bit coarser. But today, and in most cases, I would suggest to use this coarse bit. Now, if you are removing like an A&C set and they're getting a removal, then you don't necessarily have to use this coarse bit, because A&C is essentially just acrylic and glue. You don't need a bit that's as strong, or if you do use this bit, you don't need to turn the RPMs up as high. So we've got our bit. Next thing you're gonna need is a soak bowl. So this is the one that I'm choosing to use because it's the most convenient, being that we're going to use hot water, and this bowl allows you to place the hot water in one container and then put another, it has like this contraption thing that you lock in the pieces, and then you're able to put your hand in. These possibly can be found at your local nail supply store, or you can get them off of Amazon. Shein probably has them. So many people sell them now, but this is honestly one of the best techniques that I have ever come across since I've started doing nails. I really like using this soak off bowl. Next thing you're gonna need is some hot water, which I have just warmed up on my little automatic electric teapot over there. And the last thing that you are going to need is some acetone. Yeah. You are also going to need a sanding band and a regular mandrel bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put the sanding band on the bit. This is a fine sanding bit, okay? It's not coarse, all right? Do not use a coarse one because this is gonna go on the natural nail, and you do not ever want to use a coarse one on the natural nail. I'm gonna show you what a coarse one looks like. Okay, this is a coarse sanding band. And the way to tell the difference, get a little closer to the camera, and here you can see this one here is fine. See how the sanded, whatever you call this part, it's just like, you can kind of see the grit is smaller on this one than it is here. These ones are thicker, much rougher. And if you put this on the natural nail, you're going to shred somebody's nail to pieces. So don't use it. Okay. So first things first, open this up and we're gonna put some hot water in this bowl. I'll be right back. The key to this, as you can see, I'm not filling the water bowl up completely. You don't need to have the water all the way up here, because essentially what we're doing is we are going to be allowing the steam from the hot water to rise up and warm the acetone. The reason that we do not want to fill the water all the way up is because the water is too hot. And if you put that super, super hot water into this bowl and then you go ahead and you put your client's hand in here, it's gonna burn. It's gonna be way too hot. They're not gonna be able to keep their hands in, and they're gonna be dipping it in and out and in and out and in and out. And if that's the case, then they're not spending the time that they need inside of the acetone. So we're gonna put this to the side while it warms up. And then we're gonna go ahead and move to the removal process. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and use what is that thing called? A dust collector. But for this little tutorial, I'm not gonna use one because it makes too much noise and you guys are gonna be less likely to hear me when I'm talking. So I'm going to set my drill to a good 20 RPMs. You want to be to at least a 20 when you are doing a removal. There's no reason for you to be going slow. We are trying to get this acrylic off. The key when you are doing a removal is, one, don't be moving your hand too slow, okay? Because you're gonna burn your client. First of all, the drill is moving at 20 RPMs, so that's really fast. If you stay in one place, this drill is going to burn your client and potentially, oh Jesus Christ, potentially, it's a tongue twister. Potentially, oh, I got it. It's going to potentially burn your client. Jeez, the hell is wrong with me? It's going to potentially burn your client because it's like too much friction basically in one spot. So you're making sure you're going up and down from the top over here where the cuticle is, and we're just going down. And we're moving from one side of the nail to the other, and we just keep going, just like this. And you're just gonna continue to debulk and debulk and debulk. And as you can see, now I'm gonna show you the thickness of this nail compared to this one. As you can see, now we're going to debulk, and I'm gonna debulk from this way so that you guys can see how much I am removing, how much I'm bringing it down. It might not appear to be a lot, but it actually is. And the reason that we are debulking as much acrylic as possible is so that you spend less time with your client's hand in the soap bowl. This debulking process is key to your time, and perfecting the debulking process so that you are not burning your client or injuring your client is also very important. So my biggest recommendation is to practice on yourself doing removals so that you can become more comfortable with your drill. You can become more comfortable with this bit because it is sharp. You can injure yourself or your client if you are not aware on how to properly use it. You see how it's just bringing that acrylic down. Bringing that acrylic nice and flat. So, there we are. Don't know how many seconds that was, but we're done with one hand already. So you're gonna get all of the dust off of your client's hand. Remove, remove, remove. Get the dust off, okay? Perfect. You're gonna clean up your space a little bit. Get all that dust from around your area. And then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna pop this hand right into that bowl. The water should be warm enough now. You can go right on ahead and put your hand in the bowl. And then you wait. I'm not sure how long we wait for, but this should take, I'd say, no longer than 5 minutes to completely remove the acrylic off of this nail. So I am going to continue recording just because I wanna time it. So I'm not going to stop the timer, but I'm gonna let it keep going so that it can tell me once this is over just how much, or just like how long it took. So another tip: if the acetone is too hot for your client, what you can do, and what I love about this, is you can go ahead and you can unhook your little contraption piece. You can place the hot water to the side, and then your client can continue to soak their hands inside of the warm acetone. The acetone will slowly cool down because it's no longer sitting in the hot water. It also depends on how hot your water is to begin with. For me, my water is super hot because I use an electric kettle, and it brings the water to a boiling point within maybe about 2 minutes max. So the water is already boiling hot. So for that reason, that's why I say that I only have to have just less than a cup of water inside of the water compartment. Now it's different if your water is lukewarm or something like that, but because this water is as hot as it is, you only pour to that extent. But I wouldn't even put lukewarm water in there because I allow the acetone to heat up at first prior to putting the client's hand in the acetone. So while I'm debulking and things like that, I'm allowing the acetone to warm up in the bowl. So this is a step-by-step process, and you want to take the appropriate steps so that you are utilizing your time the best. You don't want to like skip any of these steps, because that's when you start to either forget something or you slow down. Right now we are at 14 minutes, but I believe for the first 8 minutes we weren't really doing anything for the removal alone. So we're 6 minutes in, we've got one hand down. This entire time that I've been talking and that this hand has been soaking, what you would be doing if you really had like a client here, right now we would be debulking this hand while this hand is soaking. So you would be filing off the acrylic on this hand and just chit-chatting while this hand is in this bowl and the acrylic is breaking down. And then when we move on to the next process or the next step for this hand, which would be removing the remaining acrylic, our next step, we're going to be removing the remaining acrylic off of this hand. And while we do that, this hand that you hypothetically would have just debulked would go into this container. And that is one reason why this acrylic process or this acrylic removal process goes by faster, because you are moving systematically from one step to the next. There's no time being wasted in between. Oftentimes when you are in the salon, what people will do is they will, first of all, a lot of people don't even debulk the nail. They'll just take the nails and put them in the acetone. That's your number one reason why you're struggling with your removals. First of all. Second of all, if they do debulk or not, they sit the client there, you put your hand in they put their hands in the acetone, and then they leave them there for 30 to 40 minutes saying, oh, this person is soaking. When in reality, it does not take that long. You shouldn't be sitting there that long. We've got about 2 more minutes. We probably had it in here for about 3. 2 more minutes and we should be good to move on to the next step. I also suggest making sure you're buying a professional acetone. Don't buy acetone from Dollar Tree or Family Dollar. I don't know why, but it's different, believe it or not. I know it says acetone on the bottle, but it be different. I don't care what nobody say. Salon quality, professional quality acetone versus the one that be in the dollar store. They don't work the same. I've tried it. While we're waiting though, I will tell you guys a funny story about when I was a beginner. This is back when I was working from home. Like I literally had just started doing nails, and I had this one client, real nice lady, and it was my first time ever trying to do removal. I had no idea what I was doing, you guys. I'm telling you, I was self-taught. So she comes in and she's basically like helping me. So what we think is we just got to get a bowl and we just got to put some acetone in it and sit it in there. So we did that and we waited about 10 minutes. We talking. She takes her hand out. Y'all, when she take her hand out, that thing looked exactly the same as when we put it in the acetone. So now we sitting there, we like, what do we do? So then she's like, oh, I think you're supposed to warm it up in the microwave. Worst thing ever. Never put your acetone in the microwave. Like, who in what world? We could have died. I could have blew up that damn apartment. Okay, I put a bowl of acetone in the microwave and put it on 10 seconds. Sometimes I did 20 seconds because it wasn't warm enough. That's insanity. And yeah, we're crazy. Do not do that. Please do not ever. It is flammable. Do not do that under any circumstances. I don't care if you need it warm. Do something like this. Even if you don't have a contraption like this, you can use a bowl. Put one bowl on top of the other. Put one bowl of hot water, then put the other bowl on top of it. Put some acetone in it. It's the same thing. You don't need no fancy little situation here like I got. But yeah, girl, we did that, and then I didn't do the debulking process, so it took at least an hour to get that acrylic off. And I was using professional grade acrylic as a beginner. I was using Valentino, so the acrylic wasn't gonna just be shredding off or falling off normally. It took forever to do that lady's removal, and I don't exactly remember when I learned how to properly do a removal, and I don't even know how I learned. I yeah, I don't know. I can't remember that far back, but I think just from experience alone, I just started doing it this way. But horrible experience. It took me an hour. Okay, so now this should be done. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get a napkin, and we're going to take your client's hand out of the acetone. It's gonna look like this. The skin around is gonna be all gray. Do not be scared. Nothing's happening. It's just that acetone, it takes all the oils out of whatever goes into it. So your hands are just dry. As you can see, we're using a napkin, and majority of this acrylic is just wiping right off. Okay, it's wiping right off. So now your fingers look like this. They're all crusty. Ew. What you're gonna do now, we don't need this anymore. Take that off. You're gonna use your extra fine sanding band. Now you're going to turn your drill on, but we are going to have it on low. So now we're going to put it at 7 RPMs, really low. And we are just going to lightly remove this remaining acrylic. Even 7 was a little bit too high for me. I didn't need it that high. So we are going ahead, removing that acrylic. And I'm also touching up my cuticle area because I'm going to do a content set after this. So I might as well go ahead and get my prep in there. But as you can see that nail completely, acrylic is off. And there you go. Then you do the remaining ones. You see the acrylic just naturally just comes right off. Now I'm touching up the cuticle area. Just getting all that extra dead skin off of my nail plate real quick. Like that. Once again, it's there. This is how it's gonna come right off. Just like that. Now, yes, if you did not want to use the sanding band at all, you absolutely could have just kept your client hand in that for like another 3 minutes and it would have still wiped off with the napkin. But this process right here that I'm doing at the end of the day, you still have to do it because you have to rough up the base of the nail again if you're doing like a full set afterwards. So this part comes next regardless. Cleaning up the cuticle area again. Most of it removed off of this pinky, but on its own. There you go. I don't know how many seconds that was, but it's off. All right, go ahead and get the dust out of the way. Now, just gonna clean up the client's nails a bit because you don't want to send them away looking like this. You can, but I charge $20 for a removal, and this is why. 1, the timing, quick. 2, afterwards you get a manicure. I don't just give you a removal and send you on your way. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut these nails down. Like that. Next step, we're going to remove the excess dead skin. like that. Last thing, you're gonna get some alcohol. I'm gonna spray the nails. Brush them. This is removing all that extra dust or dirt off of the nail plate. Don't be shy with scrubbing. It does not hurt. At least if you get one of these brushes. These bristles are pretty soft. Okay. Then lastly, you want to make sure, give your clients some cuticle oil. You're going to massage that in and bring it down. Massage it in, bring it down. You might wonder, why you gotta do all that? Well, you just had your client's hands sitting in acetone, removing all the oils off of their skin. And you want to give them their moisture back. And if you want to be nice, you can even add a little bit of lotion. Nice massage. And there you go. Removal. Successful. Quick. And while you were just doing all of that, this hand was soaking. Now this hand is ready to be all that stuff taken off, cleaned, prepped. Now, if you were putting on a new set, cuticle oil would have not been applied. We would have started applying tips right after we did the cuticle work. But if a client just came in and got like a straight removal, then this is what you would have done, this whole process, and called it a day. Now, if it was a regular client and, you know, you do your good professional work or whatever, on the normal, their nail beds would still be, they would be like less thinner than mine. But I'm a content creator, and I pull off my nails and stuff like that all the time. So my natural nails are like super thin, but they don't hurt or anything like that. They're just like really thin, because I work on them too much. But when your clients tap, it should still sound like clack, 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 clack with their natural nails. But if you do it with mine, it's like tick, 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 tick. But anyway, that is how you do a successful removal in a timely manner. I hope this video helps you take anything that is useful to you from this video. If you don't want to do it this way, then hey, don't do it this way. But it works for me. And if whatever you've been doing doesn't seem to be working, then just try it my way. And I hope that this video helps a few people out there if they're struggling to remove their acrylic successfully. Thank you so much for watching, and comment in the comment section what else you guys would like me to do a tutorial on. I really want to start doing nail art tutorials, but I'm not sure, because you know there's just so many art designs. So let me know what art designs you guys would like to see. I currently have a acrylic retention video for sale on my website. It is a one-on-one online training where I am going over how to prep, apply tips, apply acrylic, shape, and polish the nails. So that training is live on my website now, and it is available for purchase. If you are struggling with the retention of your client sets, you go ahead and take a look at that, check it out. I drop a lot of tips in that video that might be able to help you, or that will be able to help you if you don't already know about them. That video will definitely help you out some. and I am going to be having a art training going live next month, where I'm going to be sharing a bunch of different art tricks and tips and things like that when it comes to doing nail art. And stay tuned for next month's video, and go ahead and check out this month's training if you are interested and struggling with acrylic retention. I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and follow and subscribe. Bye.